I said, my name is Sam. Why didn't he say Sam? Who changed my name? Ivan Black said, I changed your name. And I said, why? My name is Sam. I don't need a new name. Why Zero? He said, do you remember what you told me your grade school average was? I said, and besides, you started from nothing.
The very first off-Broadway show I ever did, in 1969, Jerry Talmer in the New York Post said, you should play the lead in the Zero Mostel story. Even in high school, the reviews of the high school plays, I was compared to him. So I've been compared to Zero my whole life. I've done the whole canon of Zero Mostel shows several times. And now as I approach the age that he was when he died, I thought now is the time to do something. So I read everything I could get my hands on. I talked to everybody who was still around who knew him. And I was also lucky enough that I interacted with Zero. I knew him. I met him in 1962 when I was in high school. And my mentor was David Burns, and I came backstage after a production of Forum to meet Davey and ran smack into Zero Mostel and kind of became friends with him. When I first wrote the play, I sent it to Josh Mostel, who wrote back, and he kind of said, well, why do you want to do my father? And I wrote back, because he was a great character. He overcame so many different obstacles in his life, and he did it with a sense of humor and a sense of creativity. So that's why I took it on, and it's really given me so much.
Say, did you hear about the Hasidic rabbi? He walked into a bar, he had a parrot on his shoulder. The bartender said, where did you get that? The parrot said, they're all over Brooklyn.
It's a one-man show, and the premise is that I'm talking as Zero Mostel. It's the life of Zero Mostel, and I'm talking to an unseen reporter who has come to Zero's studio to interview him. And what people don't know about Zero is that he was a painter first and a comedian and an actor second. And so that's why I set it in his painting studio and made this conceit that he was talking for what was to be his last interview. What I love is that the audience then becomes Arthur, the person that I'm talking to, and they start to answer me. You know, I say, did you ever hear of Ring Lardner Jr.? And I hear, oh yes, he was very good, very good. And so that's wonderful when the responses come. Zero is a little more outrageous than I am. I was raised a good Catholic boy in Bay Ridge, and I was taught by the nuns, so we got our fingers wrapped if we... Zero was outrageous. He would say things to people, he would do things to people that I would never think of doing. So there's a freeing about becoming Zero every night, of doing things that Jim wouldn't do, but that Zero would do. As long as there's actors talking about people like Zero, about these wonderful heroes, and as long as people want to learn about them, then people like Zero Mostel are going to live forever.
Harold Prince, the great genius, the great producer, he offered me $4,000 a week. How do you say no to $4,000 a week, especially when you've been making $4,000 a year? But it was Katie, it was my dear, darling, wonderful Katie. She convinced me to do Forum. She said, my angel, if you don't do this show, I'm gonna stab you in the balls. How do you argue with logic like that?